You wake up, you think, you decide, you act, and it all feels like freedom. But pause, just for a moment, and look a little closer. Did you really choose your thoughts? Or did they simply appear on their own? Did you decide how to feel? Or did the feeling arrive before you could stop it? If a single thought can change your mood, if one memory can pull you into the past, if one fear can quietly control your next move, then is it truly freedom, or something that only feels like it? Because what if the control you believe you have is only an illusion, carefully created by the mind itself? And what if, right now, in this moment, you are closer to seeing the truth than ever before? Stay with me, because once you see this clearly, you won't just understand your mind. You will begin to step out of its control. Before you even begin, the mind has already decided your direction. Before you speak, something inside you has already chosen the tone you will use. Before you take action, a feeling has already formed and is quietly pushing you in a certain direction. Before you make what you call a decision, a thought has already appeared and started guiding you without asking for permission. It all happens so fast, so naturally, that you don't even notice it. You simply feel like you are living your life step by step, making choices as you go, deciding freely what to do next. But if you slow down for a moment and really look at your experience, you may begin to see something different. Many of the steps you take are not as free as they seem. They are already shaped by what appeared in your mind just seconds before. A thought rises out of nowhere, and almost instantly, you begin to follow it. A feeling shows up in your chest, and without questioning it, you start moving with it. It feels natural, it feels automatic, and because of that, it feels like it must be you. But look a little deeper, with honesty and patience. You did not choose that first thought. You did not sit down and decide, "Now I will think this." It simply came. You did not invite that feeling either. It arrived on its own, and yet it begins to shape your words, your reactions, your choices, and even the direction of your entire day. This is where the illusion begins. You believe you are in control, but something is already influencing you before you even notice what is happening. This is how the mind controls, not in an obvious way, not by forcing you or shouting commands, but by moving quietly in the background. It suggests, it creates, it presents, and then it steps back while you follow. There is no noise, no pressure, no clear sign of control, which is exactly why it is so powerful. Because when control is silent, it feels like freedom. And when something feels like freedom, you never question it. So the mind moves first, gently and invisibly, placing thoughts and feelings into your experience. And then your life begins to move in response, step by step, moment by moment, following something you never truly chose. Once you begin to see this clearly, even in a small way, something shifts inside you. You start to realize that what you called your direction may have been decided long before you became aware of it. What feels like truth is often just a familiar illusion, repeating itself. There are thoughts inside you that feel completely real. They don't feel like ideas, they feel like facts. When they appear, you don't question them, you don't examine them, you simply accept them as truth and move forward as if they define who you are and what your life means. Thoughts like, "I am not enough, nothing will change," or "this is just how my life is," can feel so solid, so certain that you stop seeing them as thoughts at all. You begin to see them as reality. But if you slow down and look carefully, something very subtle begins to reveal itself. These thoughts did not become powerful because they are true. They became powerful because they are familiar. They have been repeated inside you so many times that they now feel like a part of you. The mind has a quiet habit of repeating what it already knows. It returns to the same patterns, the same stories, the same emotional reactions, not because they are right, but because they are known and predictable. The mind feels safe in what is familiar, even if that familiarity brings pain. So it keeps replaying the same thoughts again and again, shaping your perception in the same direction, until you begin to believe that this is simply who you are. You stop seeing it as a pattern, and you start calling it your identity. You say, "This is just me," without realizing that what you are calling me may just be a collection of repeated thoughts that were never questioned. This is where the illusion becomes strong, because when something feels familiar, it feels comfortable. And when it feels comfortable, it feels true. But comfort is not the same as truth. A thought can feel close to you, it can feel natural, it can even feel like it has always been there, and still, it can be completely false. The mind does not show you what is real, it shows you what it has practiced the most. So the same fears return, the same doubts come back, the same emotional reactions repeat in different situations, and each time they appear, they carry the same quiet message: this is real, this is who you are. And, without noticing it, you begin to live inside that message. Your choices, your reactions, even your sense of self starts to form around something that was never deeply examined. But the moment you begin to question it, gently and without resistance, something begins to shift. You start to see that what feels true may simply be what feels known, and what feels known may simply be what has been repeated. In that realization, a small space opens inside you, a space where you are no longer completely tied to every thought that appears, a space where you can begin to see clearly instead of just believing automatically. And in that space, the illusion slowly begins to lose its power. Your attention is the hidden power, and the mind uses it to control you. There is something inside you that is more powerful than any thought, but most of the time, you don't notice it. It is your attention. Where your attention goes, your experience follows. The mind is always active. Thoughts are constantly appearing, one after another, without stopping. Some are light, some are heavy, some are completely meaningless, and some feel deeply emotional. But here is what most people never realize. Not every thought has power over you. Only the ones you give your attention to begin to shape your reality. Imagine this carefully. A small thought appears in your mind, something simple, something passing. On its own, it has very little strength. But the moment you focus on it, the moment you begin to look at it, think about it, and follow it, something changes. It begins to grow. It becomes clearer, louder, heavier. And before you realize it, it starts to affect how you feel. This is how a small worry turns into anxiety. This is how a simple memory becomes sadness. This is how one negative idea can slowly change your entire mood. Not because the thought itself was powerful, but because your attention gave it energy. Attention is like a quiet form of fuel. Whatever you give it to, it feeds. If you keep returning to the same fear, it grows stronger. If you keep replaying the same memory, it feels more real. If you keep focusing on what is wrong, your whole experience begins to feel heavy. The mind understands this very well. It does not need to control you directly. It only needs to capture your attention. So it presents many thoughts throughout the day, some pleasant, some painful, some distracting. And then it waits. It waits to see which one you will hold on to. The moment you pick one and give it your full attention, the process begins. You follow it, you build on it, you react to it, and slowly, without noticing, you are no longer just observing the thought. You are inside it. This is where control happens, not through force, but through focus. The mind does not need to push you. It only needs you to keep looking in the direction it suggests. And as long as your attention is constantly pulled by every thought, every feeling, every small trigger, it becomes very easy for the mind to guide your experience without resistance. But the moment you begin to see this clearly, something important changes. You realize that your attention is not something that belongs to the mind. It belongs to you. You can notice a thought without holding it. You can see a feeling without feeding it. You can allow something to appear and still choose not to give it your energy. This is a very quiet shift, but it is powerful, because when you stop giving your attention automatically, the thoughts begin to lose their strength. They still appear, but they do not control you in the same way. They come and they pass, and slowly you begin to understand something that was always true. The mind is not powerful on its own. It becomes powerful through your attention. The more you fight the mind, the more deeply you become trapped inside it. When uncomfortable thoughts appear, your first instinct is to push them away. You try to silence them, control them, or replace them with something better. You tell yourself to stop thinking, to calm down, to fix what is happening inside your head. It feels like the right thing to do. It feels like strength. But if you watch closely, something unexpected begins to happen. The more you try to fight a thought, the more attention you give it. And the more attention you give it, the stronger it becomes. You say, "I don't want this thought," but in that very moment, you are holding on to it. You are focusing on it, repeating it, reacting to it. You are feeding it without realizing it. And slowly, what you were trying to escape becomes even more present. This is why certain thoughts feel impossible to remove. The more you resist them, the more they stay. The more you struggle, the more tired you become. It begins to feel like you are trapped inside your own mind, running in circles, trying to escape something that keeps following you. But the truth is simple and a little uncomfortable to accept. The mind does not care if you agree with it or fight against it. As long as you are reacting, it remains in control, because reaction keeps you connected to it. Whether you say yes or no, whether you accept or resist, you are still involved. This is where many people get stuck. They believe freedom means controlling the mind, forcing it to be quiet, forcing it to behave. But the more they try, the deeper they fall into the same struggle. It becomes a constant battle, and in that battle, the mind keeps winning, not because it is stronger, but because you are still engaging with it on its level. Real freedom does not come from fighting thoughts. It comes from seeing them clearly without getting pulled into them. It comes from allowing them to appear without reacting, without judging, without trying to push them away. At first, this feels strange. It may even feel like you are doing nothing. But in that doing nothing, something important is happening. You are no longer feeding the thought. You are no longer giving it your energy. You are simply watching it, the way you would watch clouds passing in the sky. They come, they change, and they go. You do not chase them, and you do not try to destroy them. You let them be, and because of that, they do not stay for long. The same is true for the mind. When you stop fighting, the cycle begins to break. The thoughts lose their grip, not because you forced them to leave, but because you stopped holding on to them. And in that quiet shift, something opens inside you. A space where you are no longer trapped in constant struggle. A space where thoughts can exist without controlling you. A space where you begin to feel a different kind of peace. One that does not come from winning against the mind, but from stepping out of the fight completely. The mind will not let go until you finally face what you keep avoiding. There are certain thoughts that do not leave you, no matter how busy you try to stay. You distract yourself, you fill your time, you keep moving, but the moment things become quiet, they return. A memory appears, a feeling rises, something inside you tightens, and you immediately want to look away again. It feels uncomfortable, sometimes even painful, so your first reaction is to escape it as quickly as possible. But notice something carefully. The things you keep avoiding are often the things that return the most. This is not a mistake. The mind is not repeating these thoughts to hurt you. It is repeating them because something inside you has not been fully seen, fully felt, or fully understood. When an experience is pushed away before it is processed, it does not disappear. It remains incomplete. And what is incomplete has a way of returning, again and again, asking for your attention. You may think you have moved on from certain moments in your life, but the way your mind reacts in silence tells a different story. A small trigger can bring back the same feeling. A simple reminder can reopen something you thought was finished. This is how the mind tries to show you what is still unresolved. Avoidance feels like relief in the moment. You scroll, you talk, you distract, and for a while, the discomfort fades. But deep inside, nothing has truly changed. The feeling is still there, waiting, and the longer you avoid it, the stronger its return becomes. It may show up as overthinking, as sudden sadness, as quiet anxiety that you cannot explain. It may even shape how you see yourself and others without you realizing it. The mind does not let go easily because it is holding something that has not been completed. It keeps bringing it back, not to trap you, but to bring it into your awareness. It is like a door that remains slightly open, no matter how many times you try to ignore it. Real change begins the moment you stop running. When you allow yourself to sit with what you have been avoiding, without distraction, without trying to fix it immediately, something different happens. At first, it may feel intense. You may feel emotions you have been holding back for a long time. But if you stay with it gently, without judgment, without resistance, you begin to see it more clearly. You begin to understand it. And more importantly, you begin to feel it fully. When something is fully felt, it no longer needs to repeat itself. The mind does not need to bring it back again and again because it has finally been seen. The loop begins to break, not because you forced it to end, but because you allowed it to complete itself. This is why facing what you avoid is so powerful. It is not about reliving pain. It is about freeing yourself from the cycle that keeps bringing it back. And slowly, as you begin to face these hidden parts of your experience, the mind starts to loosen its grip. Thoughts become lighter, reactions become softer. The weight you have been carrying without knowing begins to fade. Not because the past has changed, but because your relationship with it has. Silence feels uncomfortable, because it begins to expose the mind's illusion. Most people believe they want peace, but the moment silence appears, they feel uneasy. Try it for yourself. Sit without your phone. No music, no conversation, no distraction. Just you in a quiet moment. At first, it may feel calm, almost pleasant, but slowly, something begins to change. Thoughts start to rise more clearly. Old memories appear. Small worries begin to grow louder. A strange restlessness starts to move inside you, and you feel an urge to do something, anything, just to escape the quiet. This is the moment most people run away. They reach for their phone, they turn on noise, they fill the space again. Not because they enjoy the noise, but because silence begins to reveal something they are not used to seeing. Without distraction, the mind becomes visible. All the thoughts that were hidden behind activity now come forward. The constant talking of the mind, which was always there in the background, now feels louder because there is nothing to cover it. And suddenly, you are face to face with it. This is why silence feels uncomfortable. Not because silence is painful, but because it removes the cover that was hiding the mind's activity. It begins to expose the patterns, the habits, the endless stream of thoughts that you were unconsciously following throughout the day. It shows you how busy the mind really is, how quickly it moves, how easily it pulls you from one idea to another. And for the first time, you start to see it clearly. The mind does not like this. Because the moment you begin to observe it, the moment you start to notice how it works, its control begins to weaken. It can no longer guide you as easily when you are aware of what it is doing. So, it creates discomfort. It creates restlessness. It pushes you to leave the silence, and return to distraction where it can continue unnoticed. But if you stay, even for a little while, something powerful begins to happen. You start to realize that you are not the noise. You are not the thoughts moving through your mind. You are the one who is watching them. The more you sit in silence, the clearer this becomes. Thoughts come and go, but you remain. Feelings rise and fall, but something in you stays still. In that stillness, a small space opens, a space between you and the mind. And in that space, the illusion begins to break. You see that the thoughts are not constant. They change, they pass. They have no solid form unless you hold on to them. What once felt overwhelming begins to feel lighter, simply because you are no longer completely inside it. Silence, then, is not something to fear. It is something that reveals. It shows you what has always been happening beneath the surface. It gives you the chance to see clearly, instead of being carried away without noticing. And, although it may feel uncomfortable at first, that discomfort is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that something is being uncovered. If you can stay with it, gently and without forcing anything, you begin to discover a different kind of peace. Not the peace that comes from distraction or control, but the peace that comes from understanding, a quiet, steady awareness that remains, even when the mind is active. And in that awareness, the mind slowly loses its hold. Not because you pushed it away, but because you finally saw it as it is. You are not the voice. You are the silent awareness behind it. There is a voice inside your head that has been speaking for as long as you can remember. It comments on everything you do. It judges, compares, remembers, imagines, worries, and explains. From morning until night, it is there, quietly talking, shaping your experience, guiding your reactions. And over time, without ever questioning it, you began to believe that this voice is you. When it says something, you listen. When it judges, you feel affected. When it worries, your body responds. It feels so close, so constant, that it seems impossible to separate from it. It feels like your identity, like the center of who you are. But pause for a moment and look carefully. If you can hear the voice, then it cannot be you, because the one who hears is different from what is heard. The voice is something that appears. It changes. It moves from one thought to another. Sometimes it is loud, sometimes quiet. Sometimes it is kind, sometimes harsh. But it is never still. It is always shifting. And yet, something inside you remains steady, simply noticing all of this without changing. That quiet presence, that simple awareness, is always there. It does not speak. It does not argue. It does not push or pull. It just sees. It is there when thoughts appear, and it is still there when thoughts disappear. It is there in moments of noise, and it remains in moments of silence. This is what you truly are. Not the voice that comes and goes, but the awareness that stays. The mind may tell many stories. It may say you are not enough, or that you must become something more. It may pull you into the past, or push you into the future. But all of that happens inside the field of awareness, and awareness itself remains untouched. When you begin to notice this, even in a small way, a distance starts to form. You are no longer completely inside every thought. You begin to observe instead of react. The voice may still speak, but it does not hold the same power because you are no longer fully identified with it. At first, this may feel unfamiliar. You may slip back into old patterns, following the voice again without noticing. But each time you remember, each time you pause and simply observe, the clarity grows stronger. You begin to see the difference between the voice and the one who hears it. And in that seeing, something begins to loosen. The mind loses its ability to fully control you, because control depends on you believing that the voice is who you are. Once that belief starts to break, even slightly, the hold becomes weaker. Thoughts continue to come, but they pass more easily. Reactions soften. There is more space, more calm, more clarity. You begin to live from a different place, not from the constant movement of the mind, but from the quiet stillness behind it. And in that stillness, there is a sense of freedom that does not need effort. A sense of being that is not created by thoughts and cannot be disturbed by them. It has always been there, hidden beneath the noise, waiting for you to notice. True freedom begins when you stop obeying every thought that appears. For most of your life, you have been taught, without anyone saying it directly, that every thought deserves a response. A thought appears and you follow it. A feeling rises and you react to it. It happens so quickly that it feels natural, almost automatic, as if there is no space in between. Thought comes and action follows. This pattern repeats so many times that you begin to believe this is how life must be lived. But look closely, with patience and honesty. Is it really true that every thought needs to be obeyed? A thought says, "You are not good enough," and immediately your body feels heavy. A thought says, "Something will go wrong," and fear quietly enters your chest. A thought says, "Hold on to this pain," and you begin to relive something that is no longer happening. None of these thoughts forced you. They simply appeared. Yet, by following them without noticing, you allowed them to shape your experience. This is where control has been hiding all along. Not in the thoughts themselves, but in the habit of obeying them. You were never asked to question them. You were never shown that you could simply watch them without moving with them. So you kept following, again and again, until it felt like there was no other way. But there is a different way, and it begins very quietly. A thought appears, and you pause. You notice it, but you do not immediately follow it. You allow it to be there, without turning it into a story, without building on it, without reacting. At first, this feels unusual. It may even feel uncomfortable, because the mind is used to being followed. It expects you to react. It expects you to continue the pattern. But when you do not respond in the usual way, something changes. The thought begins to lose its strength. You start to see that thoughts are not commands. They are not instructions that must be followed. They are simply movements of the mind, appearing and disappearing on their own. Some are useful, some are not, but none of them have power unless you give it to them. This realization is simple, but it is deeply freeing, because it creates space between the thought and your response. And in that space, you are no longer controlled in the same way. You can choose to act or not act. You can choose to speak or remain silent. You can let a thought pass without turning it into something bigger. Slowly, your relationship with your mind begins to change. You are no longer trapped inside every idea that appears. You are no longer pulled in every direction by every passing feeling. There is a steadiness that begins to grow inside you, a quiet sense of being grounded, even when the mind is active. This is what true freedom feels like. Not the absence of thoughts, because thoughts will always come. Not perfect control over the mind, because the mind will always move. But the end of blind obedience. The end of automatically believing and following everything that appears. And as this understanding deepens, something very peaceful begins to settle within you. You start to trust the stillness more than the noise. You start to rest in awareness instead of chasing every thought. And in that resting, you discover something that was never lost. A quiet freedom that does not depend on changing your thoughts, but on no longer being ruled by them. Now, just slow down for a moment. You've spent so much of your life listening to every thought, following every feeling, trying to fix, control, or understand everything happening inside your mind. And maybe you're tired of the noise, tired of the constant movement, tired of feeling like peace is always just out of reach. But what if nothing is wrong with you? What if the struggle was never your life, but only the way you were relating to your mind. Right now, in this very moment, there is nothing you need to solve, no thought you need to follow, no feeling you need to chase away, no story you need to continue. Just this moment, quiet, simple. Here, the mind may still speak, thoughts may still appear, but you don't have to go with them anymore. You can just sit and notice. You can let them pass, like clouds moving across the sky, without holding on to any of them. And behind all of that, there is something still, something calm, something that has been with you through every thought, every emotion, every moment of your life. It has never been disturbed. It has never been lost. It has never needed to be fixed. That is you, not the voice, not the noise, not the constant thinking, but the quiet awareness that sees it all. And the more you rest in that, the more everything begins to soften. The need to control fades. The pressure begins to lift. The mind slowly loses its hold. And what remains is a gentle sense of peace. Not something you created, but something you finally allowed yourself to notice. So tonight, or whenever you find yourself lost in thought again, just pause, take a breath, and remember, you don't have to follow everything your mind says. You don't have to carry every thought that appears. You can return, again and again, to this quiet space within you, where nothing is missing, where nothing needs to be added, where you are already free. If this helped you see your mind in a new way, stay with this journey. Subscribe to Golden Lotus Wisdom for more quiet teachings on awareness, inner peace, and true freedom. And take a moment, gently reflect, then share in the comments. Have you been guiding your mind, or has your mind been quietly guiding you?